The crayon snaps in half before Liam even realizes he's gripping it too hard. Maya Carter watches from across the reading circle, her heart sinking as the 6-year-old's face crumbles. His small hands shake as he stares at the broken pieces of blue crayon in his palms, and she knows what's coming next. The other children in her first-grade classroom haven't noticed yet, still absorbed in coloring their family portraits. But Maya sees everything. She's already moving toward him when the first tear slides down his cheek. "It's okay, sweetie," she says softly, kneeling beside his tiny desk in the back corner of the room. The corner where Liam always sits. The corner where he's been sitting since he transferred to Westridge Academy 3 weeks ago. Crayons break all the time. Here, let me get you another one. If you're enjoying this story so far, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe. Drop a comment telling me where in the world you're watching from. I love hearing from you. Liam doesn't respond. He never does. Not with words, anyway. Instead, he just stares at the broken crayon like he's broken something infinitely more precious. His breath coming faster. His eyes going wide with that look Maya has come to recognize as panic. "Liam," she whispers, placing a gentle hand on his shoulder. "Look at me. It's just a crayon. You didn't do anything wrong." But before she can say anything else, Brittany Morrison's voice cuts across the classroom like a knife. "Miss Carter." Liam broke his crayon again. "That's the third one this week." 20 pairs of eyes turn toward them. 26-year-old judges rendering their verdict in an instant. "He's always breaking things," adds Camden Pierce, the mayor's son, his voice dripping with the kind of casual cruelty that wealthy children learn early. "My mom says some kids just don't know how to take care of nice things." Maya feels her jaw tighten, but she keeps her voice calm, professional. "That's enough. Everyone, eyes on your own work, please. Liam is fine." Except he's not fine. His breathing has turned rapid and shallow, his small body trembling as he hunches over his desk. Maya recognizes the signs of an anxiety attack building. Has seen it happen twice before in the 3 weeks since this quiet, scared little boy arrived at Chicago's most prestigious private elementary school. "Everyone, I want you to continue working on your portraits," Maya announces, standing up. "I'm going to step into the hallway with Liam for just a moment. Brittany, you're in charge until I get back." Brittany beams with self-importance while several other children snicker. Maya hears the whispers start before she's even guided Liam to the door. "He's so weird. Why doesn't he ever talk? My dad says his mom probably didn't want him." The words hit Maya like physical blows, but she keeps moving, one hand on Liam's shoulder as she leads him into the quiet corridor outside her classroom. The hallway is empty, lined, with lockers decorated with the children's artwork and achievement certificates. Everything at Westridge Academy gleams with money and privilege, from the marble floors to the original artwork hanging on the walls. Everything except Liam. His clothes are always clean but worn, pants a little too short, shirts a little too big, like they're hand-me-downs from someone else. His backpack is patched in 2 places. His lunchbox is plastic instead of the insulated designer ones the other children carry. And his shoes, those scuffed sneakers with the fraying laces, have been the subject of mockery since his first day. Maya crouches down to his level, her hands resting gently on his arms. "Liam, I need you to breathe with me, okay? Can you do that?" He nods, his chest still heaving. "Good. In through your nose," she demonstrates, drawing in a slow breath. "Hold it for 3 seconds. 1, 2, 3. Now out through your mouth." They breathe together for several minutes, Maya's steady, presence gradually calming the storm inside the little boy. This is the 4th time this week she's had to do this. The 4th time she's watched this child fight against anxiety that no 6-year-old should have to carry. When his breathing finally steadies, Liam looks up at her with those enormous brown eyes, filled with a sadness that breaks her heart every single time. "You're safe," she tells him softly. "You didn't do anything wrong. Crayons break. It happens to everyone." He nods, but she can see he doesn't believe her. "Do you want to tell me what's really bothering you?" she asks gently. Liam shakes his head, his lips pressed together in that stubborn line she's come to know well. In 3 weeks, she's never heard him speak a single word. Not to her, not to the other children, not even to the school counselor Mrs. Whitmore sent him to see after the first anxiety attack. Selective mutism, the counselor had said. Trauma response. The boy needs stability and patience. What he needs, Maya thinks fiercely, is for people to stop treating him like he's broken. "Okay," she says, standing and offering him her hand. "How about we go back inside, and you can help me pass out the art supplies for our next activity? Would you like that?" Liam nods, his small hand sliding into hers. His fingers are cold, always cold, and Maya makes a mental note to check if he has a proper winter coat. November in Chicago is unforgiving, and she's noticed him shivering in the morning drop-off line. They're about to re-enter the classroom when Principal Whitmore's voice stops them. "Miss Carter, a word, please." Maya turns to find Judith Whitmore striding down the hallway, her expression tight with displeasure. The principal is a woman in her early 50s who wears her authority like armor, perfectly coiffed hair, designer suit, pearls that probably cost more than Maya's monthly rent. "Liam, go ahead inside," Maya says, giving his hand a gentle squeeze. "I'll be right there." The boy hesitates, his eyes darting between Maya and the principal with something that looks like fear. But he obeys, slipping back into the classroom and leaving Maya alone with Whitmore. "This is becoming a pattern," the principal says without preamble, her voice low but sharp. "That's the second time this week you've had to remove Liam from class." "He was having an anxiety attack," Maya explains, keeping her voice professional despite the frustration building in her chest. "The other children were teasing him, and he needed a moment to calm down. The other children were simply making observations," Whitmore counters. "Children notice differences, Miss Carter. It's natural. Bullying isn't natural. It's learned behavior." Whitmore's eyes narrow. "Careful with accusations like that. Brittany Morrison's father sits on our board of directors. Camden Pierce's mother just donated $50,000 for our new media center. These are not families we want to alienate." Maya feels heat rising in her face. "And Liam? What about him? What about making sure he feels safe and welcome here?" "Liam Chen is here on a scholarship," Whitmore says, each word carefully enunciated. "A scholarship that was granted as a favor to someone on our donor list. His tuition is completely covered, which is more than generous considering his circumstances." "His circumstances?" Maya repeats, her voice tight. "A single father who works multiple jobs, no mother in the picture. The boy barely speaks and has documented behavioral issues." Whitmore's expression softens slightly, but it doesn't reach her eyes. "I'm sympathetic, Miss Carter, truly, but Westridge Academy has standards to maintain. If Liam cannot adjust to our environment, perhaps a public school would be more appropriate for his needs." The words land like a slap. Maya has taught at Westridge for 3 years, long enough to understand the unspoken truth. Children like Liam, children without money or connections or influential parents, are only tolerated as long as they don't cause problems. The moment they require extra attention or accommodation, they become expendable. "He just needs time," Maya says firmly. "And he needs the other children to treat him with kindness instead of cruelty. Then perhaps you should focus on teaching your students proper classroom behavior instead of coddling one child who disrupts the learning environment." Whitmore's tone turns cold. "I'm watching this situation closely, Miss Carter. Very closely. I suggest you do the same." The principal walks away, her heels clicking sharply against the marble floor, leaving Maya standing alone in the hallway with her hands clenched into fists. She takes a deep breath, forces herself to relax, and returns to her classroom. The rest of the morning passes in a tense, uncomfortable silence. The children seem to sense Maya's mood, subdued and careful in a way that first graders rarely are. Liam sits in his corner, dutifully completing his work but never raising his hand, never volunteering, never making eye contact with anyone. At lunch, Maya watches through the cafeteria window as Liam sits alone at the end of a long table, eating a peanut butter sandwich while the other children cluster together in loud, laughing groups. No one approaches him. No one even looks at him. It's like he's invisible. By the time the final bell rings and parents begin arriving for pickup, Maya has made a decision. She pulls out her phone and opens a new note, beginning to document everything she's witnessed over the past 3 weeks. The teasing, the exclusion, the broken crayons and spilled milk and accidentally knocked over backpacks, the whispered comments and pointed looks, the way certain parents pull their children away when Liam walks by. She's building a case, carefully and methodically, because she knows what's coming. She knows that Principal Whitmore won't protect Liam, that the school board won't intervene. If you find this story engaging, please take a moment to subscribe and enable notifications. It helps us continue producing in-depth content like this. That the wealthy, families who fund Westridge Academy will always come first. But Maya Carter didn't become a teacher to look the other way when children were suffering. The pickup line moves slowly, parents in expensive cars pulling up to collect their children. Maya stands at the entrance with the other teachers, making sure each child gets safely to their designated adult. She watches as Brittany Morrison is picked up by a nanny in a luxury SUV, as Camden Pierce climbs into his mother's Mercedes, as child after child is claimed by au pairs and drivers and perfectly dressed parents. Liam is always last. He stands at the edge of the pickup area, his too small backpack hanging off one shoulder, waiting patiently as the line dwindles. Maya stays with him, as she does every day, making sure he's not left alone. "Your dad should be here soon," she says gently. Liam nods but doesn't look at her. His eyes are fixed on the street, scanning each approaching car with an intensity that seems wrong for a Blay. 6-year-old. 15 minutes pass. Then 20. Maya checks her phone, pulling up the contact information in Liam's file. David Chen. 2 phone numbers listed, 1 cell, 1 work. She tries the cell first. It rings 4 times before going to voicemail. She tries the work number. Same result. "Okay," she says, keeping her voice light despite the concern building in her chest. "How about we wait inside where it's warmer?" She leads Liam back into the building, to the administrative office where the receptionist, Mrs. Garcia, looks up with practiced sympathy. "Late pickup?" "Mrs. Garcia asks. "Looks like it. I'm going to keep trying his father." Maya tries both numbers again. And again. By 4:30, the school is nearly empty except for a handful of staff members preparing to leave for the day. Liam sits in one of the chairs in the office, swinging his legs and staring at the floor. He doesn't cry, doesn't complain, just sits there, with that horrible practiced patience of a child, who has been forgotten before. At 4:45, Maya makes a decision. "Come on, sweetie," she says, offering Liam her hand. "Let's go get some hot chocolate while we wait. There's a cafe just down the street." Mrs. Garcia gives her a knowing look but doesn't comment. They both know that technically, Maya should stay at the school until a parent arrives, but they also both know that Liam needs more than cold administrative offices and uncomfortable waiting. The November air bites at their faces as they step outside. Liam immediately hunches into himself, and Maya notices he's not wearing a coat, just a thin hoodie that's seen better days. "Liam," she says, stopping on the sidewalk. "Where's your jacket?" He shakes his head, eyes downcast. "You don't have one?" Another head shake. Maya feels something crack inside her chest. Without a word, she shrugs out of her own coat, a warm wool peacoat that's probably too big for him but better than nothing, and drapes it around his small shoulders. "There, better?" Liam looks up at her, and for the first time since she's known him, something like trust flickers in his eyes. The cafe is warm and bright, filled with the rich aroma of coffee and fresh pastries. Maya orders 2 hot chocolates and a chocolate chip cookie for Liam, then guides him to a corner booth where they can sit. He drinks his hot chocolate slowly, both hands wrapped around the cup as if drawing warmth from it. Maya watches him, this small, scared, quiet boy, who deserves so much better than what the world has given him. "Liam," she says softly, "I want you to know something. You are not broken. You are not too much or not enough. You are exactly who you're supposed to be, and anyone who makes you feel otherwise is wrong. Do you understand?" He looks at her, those enormous brown eyes searching her face as if trying to determine whether she means it. "I'm your teacher. But I'm also your friend," Maya continues. "And friends protect each other, so if anyone ever makes you feel bad, if anyone ever hurts you or scares you, I want you to tell me. Can you do that?" Liam hesitates, then slowly nods. It's not much, but it's something. They're on their second round of hot chocolate when Maya's phone finally rings. Unknown number. "Hello? Miss Carter?" The voice on the other end is deep, slightly rough, with an edge of controlled urgency. "This is about Liam. I'm sorry I was held up. Where is he?" "Mr. Chen?" Maya asks, though something about the voice doesn't quite match what she expected. "We're at the cafe on Madison, just down from the school. Liam is safe." A pause. Then, "I'll be there in 5 minutes." The line goes dead before Maya can respond. She looks at Liam, who has gone very still, his hot chocolate forgotten. His eyes are fixed on the door, with an expression she can't quite read. Not fear, exactly, but not excitement either. Something more complicated. 4 minutes later, the cafe door opens, and Maya's entire world shifts on its axis. The man who enters is not what she expected. David Chen, according to Liam's file, is 32 years old, works 2 jobs to support his son, and has no family in the area. Maya had pictured someone tired, worn down by circumstance, probably dressed in work clothes and running on too little sleep. The man walking toward their table is none of those things. He's tall, well over 6 feet, with dark hair swept back from a face that could have been carved from stone. Sharp cheekbones, strong jaw, and eyes so dark they're almost black. He wears a black suit that fits him like it was custom-made, which it probably was, and moves with the kind of fluid confidence that makes every head in the cafe turn. But it's not his appearance that makes Maya's breath catch. It's the 2 men who flank him, both dressed similarly, both scanning the cafe with the alert awareness of security personnel. It's the way other customers seem to instinctively move out of his path. It's the weight of authority and danger that clings to him like a second skin. This is not a man who works 2 jobs. This is not someone who would fill out scholarship applications for his son. This is someone who makes the rules instead of following them. The man says, his voice softening as he approaches their table. Are you all right? Liam slides out of the booth and walks straight to the man, who immediately drops to one knee to be at eye level with the boy. Large hands rest gently on small shoulders, as dark eyes search the child's face with an intensity that steals Maya's breath. I'm sorry I was late, the man murmurs. Something came up that I couldn't avoid. Did you wait long? Liam shakes his head, then turns and points at Maya. The man's gaze shifts to her, and the full weight of his attention lands like a physical force. Miss Carter, he says, rising to his full height while keeping one hand on Liam's shoulder. I apologize for the inconvenience. Thank you for staying with him. Up close, he's even more imposing. Maya has to tilt her head back to meet his eyes, and what she sees there sends a chill down her spine. Intelligence, calculation, and something darker, something that speaks of violence barely restrained beneath expensive clothing and polite words. It wasn't an inconvenience, she manages, finding her voice. Liam is a wonderful student. I was happy to wait with him. Something flickers in those dark eyes. Surprise, maybe, or suspicion. You're the one who's been helping him, he says. Not a question, a statement. I'm his teacher. No, the man's gaze holds hers, unflinching. You're the only one who's tried. The words hang in the air between them, loaded with meaning Maya doesn't fully understand. Mr. Chen, she begins. Dante, he interrupts. My name is Dante. Not Chen. Dante. Maya's stomach drops as pieces begin clicking into place. The expensive suit, the security detail, the way he carries himself like someone accustomed to absolute authority. The fact that nothing about this man matches the information in Liam's school file. Liam's last name isn't Chen, is it? She asks quietly. Dante's expression doesn't change, but something dangerous flashes in his eyes. No, it's not. Who are you? Someone who values privacy. Someone who has gone to great lengths to keep my son safe. He pauses, his gaze intensifying. Someone who is very interested in why a first-grade teacher would risk her job to defend a child she barely knows. The implication in his words makes Maya's skin prickle. He knows. Somehow, he knows about her confrontation with Principal Whitmore, about the documentation she's been building, about everything. I defend all my students, she says, lifting her chin despite the fear creeping up her spine. It's my job. No. Dante steps closer, and Maya fights the urge to step back. Your job is to teach. What you've been doing is much more dangerous. Dangerous? Maya's fear transforms into anger. What's dangerous is allowing children to bully a 6-year-old who doesn't have anyone protecting him. What's dangerous is a school that cares more about donor money than student welfare. What's dangerous is enough. The single word, spoken quietly, cuts through her tirade like a blade. You've made your point, Miss Carter, and you've proven yourself to be either very brave or very foolish. He glances down at Liam, who has been watching this exchange with wide eyes. Go wait by the door with Marco. One of the security men steps forward, offering Liam his hand. The boy takes it without hesitation, walking toward the exit with the practiced ease of someone used to following such instructions. When they're alone or as alone as they can be with the second security guard maintaining a discreet distance, Dante's entire demeanor shifts. The careful politeness falls away, revealing something raw beneath. My son has been at Westridge Academy for 3 weeks, he says, his voice low and intense. 3 weeks during which he has been tormented by children whose parents consider themselves untouchable. 3 weeks during which the administration has done nothing except threaten to expel him for having adjustment issues. His jaw tightens. 3 weeks during which you have been the only person to treat him like he matters. Maya's throat constricts. He does matter. Yes, he does. Dante's eyes bore into hers. To me, he is everything. Which is why I need you to understand what you've stepped into. Miss Carter. I don't understand. You will. He reaches into his jacket. Maya's muscles tense involuntarily and pulls out a business card. Simple. Black. No company name, just a phone number embossed in silver. The school is going to come after you. The board, the parents, Whitmore herself. They're going to try to destroy you for having the audacity to defend a scholarship student over their precious children. How do you... I know everything about the people who hurt my son. The words are spoken with such cold certainty that Maya believes him completely. I know about the Morrison family's real estate development that's currently under federal investigation. I know about Camden Pierce's mother's prescription pill problem. I know about every secret, every lie, every vulnerability of everyone at that school. He holds out the card. When they come for you, and they will call me. I protect what's mine, Miss Carter, and anyone who protects my son becomes mine to protect as well. Maya stares at the card, her heart hammering. I don't want your protection. I don't even know who you are. Yes, you do. Dante's lips curve in something that might be a smile on a less dangerous face. You're intelligent. You've already figured it out. And she has. The pieces are all there. The fake name, the security detail, the way he speaks about knowing people's secrets, the carefully concealed violence in his eyes. Dante isn't David Chen, struggling single father. He's someone far more dangerous. Take the card, he says, pressing it into her palm. His fingers are warm, his touch surprisingly gentle. You'll need it sooner than you think. Before Maya can respond, he's walking away, collecting Liam at the door. The boy looks back at her, raising one small hand in a wave before Dante guides him outside. Through the cafe window, Maya watches them climb into a black SUV with tinted windows, watches it pull away into the Chicago evening, leaving her standing alone with a business card burning in her hand and the certain knowledge that her life just became infinitely more complicated. She looks down at the card. Just a phone number, nothing else. But something tells her that when she finally works up the courage to dial those digits, nothing will ever be the same again. Maya doesn't sleep that night. She lies in her small studio apartment, staring at the water-stained ceiling, turning that black business card over and over in her hands. The numbers gleam in the dim light from the street below, taunting her with questions she's not sure she wants answered. Who is Dante really? Why did he lie about his identity? And why would someone with his obvious wealth and power send his son to Westridge Academy under a false name? But the question that keeps her awake until dawn is simpler and far more troubling. What happens to Liam now? She arrives at school the next morning exhausted, surviving on coffee and anxiety. The November sun barely breaks through the Chicago clouds as she parks her aging Honda in the faculty lot, surrounded by the sleek vehicles of teachers who come from money or married into it. Maya has neither advantage. She teaches because she loves it, because watching children's faces light up with understanding makes the poverty-level salary worth it. But mornings like this, walking into a building that values wealth over compassion, she wonders if love is enough. The answer comes before she even reaches her classroom. Miss Carter? Principal Whitmore's voice stops her in the hallway. My office. Now. The other teachers in the corridor suddenly find their phones or their classroom doors intensely interesting. No one meets Maya's eyes as she follows Whitmore down the marble hallway, past trophy cases and donor plaques, to the administrative wing. But Whitmore's office isn't empty. Seated in the leather chairs facing the principal's desk are 3 people Maya recognizes immediately. Margaret Morrison, Brittany's mother, dressed in Chanel and contempt. Susan Pierce, Camden's mother, with her perfect highlights and barely concealed pill problem. And Richard Morrison, Margaret's husband and chairman of the school board, in a suit that probably costs more than Maya's car. Sit down, Miss Carter, Whitmore says, closing the door with a soft click that sounds like a cell door locking. Maya remains standing. What's this about? This, Margaret Morrison says, her voice dripping with false concern, is about the inappropriate relationship you've developed with one of your students. Maya's blood runs cold. Excuse me? You took Liam Chen off school property yesterday without authorization, Susan Pierce adds, pulling out her phone and scrolling through something. You were seen at a cafe with him, alone, for over an hour. His father was late picking him up, Maya explains, forcing her voice to stay calm. I stayed with him so he wouldn't be alone. We went to a public cafe for hot chocolate while we waited. There was nothing inappropriate about it. You violated school policy, Richard Morrison says flatly. All students must remain on campus until a parent or designated guardian arrives. You removed a child from school grounds without permission. That's grounds for immediate termination. The trap closes around Maya with pristine precision. They've been waiting for this, waiting for her to make any mistake they could weaponize against her. I made a judgment. Call, Maya says, her hands clenched at her sides. A 6-year-old child was cold and hungry. I bought him hot chocolate. If that's a firing offense, then this school has bigger problems than my employment status. Don't be dramatic, Margaret Morrison snaps. This is about your pattern of behavior. Coddling one student, disrupting your classroom, making accusations about other children bullying. She leans forward. My daughter has been coming home in tears, Miss Carter. She says you single her out for criticism, that you favor Liam over the other students. That's not true, isn't it? Susan Pierce chimes in. Camden says the same thing, that you're constantly taking Liam's side, even when he's disruptive. Maya feels rage building in her chest, hot and dangerous. Liam is 6 years old. He doesn't speak. He has anxiety attacks. And your children torment him daily because he doesn't have designer clothes or influential parents. How dare you? Margaret Morrison hisses. My daughter would never. Your daughter told Liam that his mother probably didn't want him. Maya interrupts, her voice shaking now. Camden knocked his lunch tray onto the floor yesterday and laughed about it. Brittany started a game where the other children pretend he's invisible. So yes, Mrs. Morrison, your daughter would. And does. The silence that follows is deadly. Richard Morrison stands slowly, buttoning his jacket. Miss Carter, you are hereby placed on administrative leave, effective immediately. Pending a full investigation into your conduct, you are not to set foot on school property or contact any students, including Liam Chen. You can't do this. Maya breathes. We just did. Whitmore's voice is cold, final. Clear out your classroom. Security will escort you from the building. This is retaliation. I'll file a complaint with the school board. I am the school board, Richard Morrison says with a smile that doesn't reach his eyes. Or at least, I control enough. Votes to make your complaint disappear. You're finished here, Miss Carter. I suggest you start looking for employment elsewhere, though I doubt many schools will hire a teacher terminated for inappropriate conduct with a student. The implication lands like a physical blow. They're not just firing her. They're destroying her career, branding her with accusations that will follow her to every interview, every background check, every attempt to teach again. You're doing this because I defended a child, Maya says, her voice breaking. Because I wouldn't let you bully a 6-year-old into silence. We're doing this because you're a liability. Margaret Morrison stands, shouldering her designer handbag. And because people like you need to learn their place. This school isn't for bleeding heart idealists who think they can change the world. It's for families who understand how power actually works. She walks past Maya, pausing at the door. Consider this your education. 20 minutes. Later, Maya stands in the school parking lot with a cardboard box containing 3 years of her teaching life. Photos of students, lesson plans, the handmade cards children gave her on holidays, a coffee mug that says, "World's Best Teacher," that now feels like a cruel joke. Security had watched as she packed, making sure she didn't contaminate anything or take school property. Other teachers had peeked in, offering sympathetic looks but no words, no support. They all needed their jobs too. Maya sets the box in her trunk and stands there in the cold November morning, trying not to cry. She thinks of Liam, who will arrive at school in a few hours to find his classroom has a substitute, who will sit in that back corner wondering if he did something wrong, if the one person who tried to protect him has abandoned him like everyone else. Her hand finds the business card in her coat pocket. She pulls it out, staring at those silver numbers. Dante's words echo in her memory. When they come, pray for you and they will call me. Maya climbs into her car and sits there for a long moment, the card resting on her steering wheel. This is a line she can't uncross. Calling this number means accepting help from someone dangerous, someone whose wealth and power come from sources she doesn't want to examine too closely. But it also means protecting Liam, making sure he has at least one advocate in his corner. Her fingers are shaking as she dials. The phone rings once, twice. On the third ring, a voice answers. Not Dante, someone else. Younger. Professional. State your business. I need to speak with Dante, Maya says. This is Maya Carter, Liam's teacher. A pause. Then, hold please. 30 seconds of silence. Maya's heart hammers against her ribs. This is insane. She should hang up. Should call her union rep instead. File a complaint through proper channels. Fight this the right way. But the right way hasn't worked for Liam. The right way protects the Morrisons and Pierces of the world, while children like Liam suffer in silence. Miss Carter. Dante's voice comes through the line, and Maya feels something in her chest unclench at the sound. I take it they made their move. How did you know? She asks, though she already knows the answer. Because I know them, and because I've been watching. His voice darkens. Are you safe? Where are you? I'm in the school parking lot. They just fired me. Put me on administrative leave pending an investigation for inappropriate conduct. She can hear the bitterness in her own voice. They're going to destroy my career, aren't they? They're going to try. A rustling sound, as if Dante is moving. Stay where you are. I'm sending someone to you. Don't go home. Don't go anywhere. Just wait. Dante, I don't need. Yes, you do. His voice is firm but not unkind. You defended my son, Miss Carter. That makes you my responsibility now. And I take care of my responsibilities. The line goes dead before Maya can. Protest. She sits in her car, watching students begin to arrive for the school day. Parents in their expensive vehicles, dropping off children who will never know what it's like to be cold or hungry or afraid. Children who will grow up believing their cruelty is justified because their parents taught them that wealth equals worth. 15 minutes later, a black SUV pulls into the lot. The same vehicle from yesterday. The passenger door opens, and Marco, one of Dante's security men, approaches her car. He's tall and broad-shouldered, with the kind of face that doesn't smile often. But when he reaches her window, his expression is surprisingly gentle. Miss Carter, Mr. Vitale sent me to escort you. Vitale? Maya repeats. His name is Vitale? Something that might be amusement flickers in Marco's eyes. You didn't know? He told me his name was Chen, David Chen. He tells a lot of people a lot of things. Marco opens her car door, offering his hand. But he wants you to know the truth. Come on. He's waiting. Maya lets herself be guided from her car to the SUV. Marco takes her box of belongings, handling it with unexpected care, while another security guard slides into the driver's seat of Maya's Honda. What are you doing? Maya asks. Following you. Making sure you get where you're going safely. Marco helps her into the SUV's back seat. Mr. Vitale doesn't take chances with people under his protection. The door closes, and they're moving before Maya can fully process what's happening. The SUV is luxurious, all leather and tinted windows, and a silence so complete it feels like they're sealed off from the world. Where are we going? She asks. Somewhere safe, Marco says from the front passenger seat. Somewhere you can talk to Mr. Vitale without being watched. Watched by who? Marco meets her eyes in the rearview mirror. The people who just destroyed your career aren't going to stop there, Miss Carter. They'll want to make sure you stay destroyed. That means surveillance. Following you, making sure you don't talk to lawyers or the media or anyone who might believe your side of the story. Maya's stomach turns. This is insane. This is how power protects itself. The SUV turns onto Lakeshore Drive, heading north. But here's the thing about power, Miss Carter. The Morrisons and Pierces, they have money. Mr. Vitale has something more dangerous. What's that? Marco's smile is cold. Actual power. They drive for 20 minutes, leaving the city proper behind for the wealthy suburbs along the lake. Maya watches the landscape change from urban to affluent, houses growing larger and more isolated with each passing mile. Finally, they turn through an iron gate flanked by stone pillars. The driveway winds through perfectly manicured grounds, past gardens that must cost a fortune to maintain, toward a house that makes Westridge Academy look modest by comparison. It's a modern masterpiece of glass and stone, 3 stories of clean lines, and enormous windows overlooking Lake Michigan. Security is subtle but present, cameras hidden in the landscaping, guards positioned at strategic points. Welcome to Mr. Vitale's home, Marco says as the SUV stops at the front entrance. The door opens, and Dante himself appears at the top of the stone steps. He's dressed more casually today, dark jeans and a black sweater that somehow makes him look even more dangerous than the expensive suit. His hair is slightly mussed, as if he's been running his hands through it, but it's his eyes that catch Maya's attention, those dark, intense eyes that seem to see everything. Miss Carter, he says, descending the steps as Marco helps her from the SUV. Thank you for trusting me. I'm not sure I had a choice, Maya replies honestly. His lips curve slightly. There's always a choice. You could have called a lawyer, your union rep, the police even. He stops in front of her. But you called me. Why? Maya looks up at him, this dangerous man who somehow makes her feel safer than any lawyer or union rep could. Because those people play by rules that protect the guilty, and I don't think you do. Something flashes in Dante's eyes. Approval, maybe, or recognition of a kindred spirit. No, he says quietly. I don't. Come inside. We need to talk. The interior of the house is as stunning as the exterior, all clean lines and expensive simplicity. But what catches Maya's attention are the small signs of life amid the luxury. A child's drawing stuck to the refrigerator with a magnet, building blocks scattered on the living room floor, a small pair of sneakers by the door. Liam's sneakers, the worn ones with the fraying laces. He's at school, Dante says, following her gaze. I didn't want to disrupt his routine more than necessary. But he'll be home by 3. Will he have heard about me? Maya asks, her chest tightening at the thought. That I'm gone? The substitute will tell the class I'm taking a few days off. Dante gestures toward a sitting room with floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the lake. Sit, please. Can I get you something? Coffee? Water? Answers. Maya says, not moving, starting with who you really are. Dante studies her for a long moment, then nods slowly. Fair enough. He moves to a bar cart, pouring amber liquid into 2 glasses, though you might want the whiskey once I tell you. He hands her a glass, and Maya takes it with numb fingers. Dante settles into a chair across from her, his posture deceptively relaxed. My name is Dante Vitale, he begins. I'm 34 years old. I run several businesses in Chicago and the surrounding area. Real estate, import, export, entertainment venues. Most of them are legitimate. He pauses. Some are not. Maya's hands tighten around the glass. Mafia is such a dramatic word, Dante interrupts, his voice dry. I prefer to think of myself as someone who operates outside traditional power structures. Someone who provides services that people need but can't obtain through legal channels. You're a criminal. I'm a businessman who occasionally breaks laws that are designed to protect the wealthy and powerful at the expense of everyone else. He takes a sip of his whiskey. But yes, Miss Carter, by legal definition, I am a criminal. Does that frighten you? Maya should say yes, should set down the glass, walk out of this house, and never look back. But all she can think about is Liam's face, his scared eyes, his silent suffering. Should it? She asks instead. Dante's expression shifts, something almost like warmth entering those dark eyes. Most people would have run by now. I'm not most people. No, he agrees softly. You're not, which brings us to why you're here. He leans forward, elbows on his knees. The Morrison and Pierce families are coming after you. They'll blacklist you from every private school in the state. They'll file complaints with the State Board of Education. They'll make sure. Every background check shows you were terminated for inappropriate conduct with a student. Each word lands like a hammer blow. Maya's career, everything she's worked for, gone. Unless, Dante continues, you let me help you. How can you help? You just admitted you're a criminal. That's not exactly going to improve my reputation. I'm a criminal with leverage. Dante sets down his glass. Richard Morrison's real estate company is under federal investigation for money laundering. I have evidence that would guarantee his conviction. Susan Pierce's prescription drug addiction is funded by forging prescriptions, which is a felony. Margaret Morrison had an affair with the mayor last year. I have photographs. Maya's head spins. How do you have all of this? Because I make it my business to know the secrets of anyone who might pose a threat to me or mine. His gaze intensifies. And the moment you defended my son, you became mine, Miss Carter. Which means anyone who threatens you, threatens me. You can't just blackmail the school board, I can. I will. Dante stands, moving to the windows. Against the backdrop of lake and sky, he looks like something from mythology, powerful and untouchable, but I won't do it without your permission. So I need you to make a choice, Maya. It's the first time he's used her first name, and the intimacy of it sends a shiver down her spine. What choice? She asks. He turns, backlighting making his features difficult to read. Choice 1. You walk away. I make sure the termination doesn't follow you. I get you a recommendation, a clean record, a fresh start somewhere far from Chicago. You're safe, you're employed, but you never see Liam again. The thought makes Maya's chest ache. Choice 2, Dante continues, his voice dropping lower. You stay. You let me handle the Morrison and Pierce families. You let me protect you while we fight this. And you become Liam's teacher again. Not at Westridge, but here. Private tutor. Living in the guest house on the property. Maya's breath catches. Living here? It's the only way I can guarantee your safety. He moves closer, and Maya has to tilt her head back to maintain eye contact. These people play dirty, Maya. They won't stop at destroying your career. They'll come after your apartment, your credit, your reputation. Anything that might make you desperate enough to go public with what you know about their children. But if I'm here, you're under my protection. Completely. His gaze holds hers, unflinching. No one touches you. No one threatens you. And Liam gets what he needs most in this world. Someone who actually cares about him. It's too much. All of it. The house, the protection, the implications of accepting help from a man who just admitted to being a criminal. Maya stands, needing space, needing air. This is insane, she says, moving to the windows. Below, the lake stretches to the horizon, gray and cold under November clouds. I can't just move into your house. I don't know you. I don't know anything about your world. You know the most important thing. Dante's voice comes from right behind her now, close enough that she can feel his presence like heat. You know I'll do anything to protect my son, and that now includes protecting you. Maya closes her eyes, feeling the weight of the decision pressing down on her. If she walks away, she's safe, but Liam suffers. If she stays, she's entering a world she doesn't understand, placing her trust in a dangerous man with dangerous connections. But then she thinks of Liam's small hand in hers, his silent tears, the way he looked at her in the cafe yesterday like she was the first person in his life who had ever chosen him over convenience. If I stay, she says slowly, not turning around, I need ground rules. Name them. I'm Liam's teacher, nothing more. This is a professional arrangement. Agreed. I maintain my independence, my own space, my own life. The guest house is yours, completely private. And I need to understand what you do, all of it. She finally turns, finding him closer than she expected. I won't be complicit in something I don't understand. Dante's expression grows serious. That's the most dangerous request you've made. Some knowledge can't be unknown, Maya. I don't care. If I'm going to be part of this, I need the truth. For a long moment, he just looks at her, those dark eyes searching her face as if trying to determine something crucial. Then he nods once decision made. All right, I'll tell you everything, but not today. He glances at his watch. Today, I need to pick up Liam from school, and I'd like you to be there when I tell him you're not gone, that you're coming back to teach him. The thought of seeing Liam's face light up with relief makes Maya's decision for her. Okay, she says quietly. I'll stay. Something flashes in Dante's eyes, triumph mixed with something else she can't identify. You won't regret this. I already do, Maya admits, but I'm doing it anyway. His lips curve in that almost smile. That's what makes you brave instead of foolish. Come on, let me show you the guest house. Then we'll go get my son. The guest house is a small cottage tucked into the edge of the property, surrounded by trees that provide privacy from the main house. It's larger than Maya's entire apartment, with a full kitchen, bedroom, bathroom, and living area. Everything is furnished with simple elegance, comfortable without being ostentatious. It's beautiful, Maya says, running her hand over the smooth granite countertop. It's yours for as long as you need it. Dante leans against the doorframe, watching her explore. No rent, no obligations beyond teaching Liam. And Maya, he waits until she looks at him. Thank you. For what? For seeing him. For caring when no one else did. His voice roughened slightly. His mother died in childbirth. It's been just us since he was born. I thought I could give him everything he needed. But I was wrong. He needs someone like you. Someone good. The raw honesty in his voice catches Maya off guard. You're good to him too. I'm dangerous to him. Dante's expression darkens. My world, my choices, they put a target on his back. That's why I enrolled him at Westridge under a false name. I thought if no one knew he was mine, he'd be safe, that he could have a normal childhood. But the other kids still hurt him. Yes, different kind of hurt, same result. Dante pushes off the doorframe. Which is why this matters so much. You seeing him as more than a liability or a target, seeing him as just Liam. Maya meets his gaze. That's all he's ever been to me. Dante nods once, and Maya sees something shift in his expression. A wall lowering. A decision being made. We should go, he says. School lets out in 20 minutes. They take the SUV, Marco driving while Dante sits in the back with Maya. The ride into the city is quiet, tension, building as they get closer to Westridge Academy. Maya wonders what the other teachers will think, seeing her arrive with Dante. What Whitmore will say. What the Morrisons and Pierces will do when they realize she's not disappearing quietly. But when they pull into the pickup line, none of that matters. Because standing at the entrance, surrounded by other children being claimed by their parents, is Liam. He's wearing Maya's coat, the one she gave him yesterday, and his small face is pale and scared as he watches each car pass without stopping for him. The substitute must have told him Maya was gone, and now he's waiting, probably convinced she's abandoned him like everyone else. Stop the car, Maya says urgently. We're not at the front yet, Marco begins. Stop the car. Maya's already reaching for the door handle. Now. The SUV halts, and Maya is out before it fully stops. She doesn't run, doesn't want to scare Liam, but she moves quickly across the parking lot toward the brash entrance. Liam sees her coming. His eyes go wide, disbelieving, like she's a mirage that might disappear if he blinks. Maya drops to her knees in front of him, not caring about the cold pavement or the stares from other parents. I'm here, she says softly. I'm sorry I wasn't here this morning, but I'm here now. Liam's face crumples. His small body crashes into her, arms wrapping around her neck with desperate strength. Maya holds him tight, feeling his silent sobs shake his small frame. I'm not leaving, she whispers into his hair. I promise. I'm not leaving you. She feels Dante's presence before she sees him, a shadow falling across them as he kneels beside his son. His large hand rests on Liam's back, gentle and protective. Come on, buddy, he says quietly. Let's go home. Liam pulls back enough to look at Maya, his face wet with tears. His lips move, forming words he can't or won't speak aloud. Don't go. I'm coming with you, Maya assures him. I'm going to teach you at Ardionid, my home now. Every day. Just you and me. The relief that floods Liam's expression breaks Maya's heart and heals it simultaneously. As they walk to the SUV, Liam between them holding both their hands, Maya catches sight of Principal Whitmore watching from the office window. The woman's face is pale, shocked. Good, Maya thinks fiercely. Let her see. Let them all see that Liam isn't alone anymore, that he has people who will fight for him, that he matters. The SUV pulls away from Westridge Academy, and Maya watches it disappear in the rearview mirror. She doesn't know what comes next, doesn't know how Dante will protect her, or what price she'll ultimately pay for accepting his help. But looking at Liam's small face, finally peaceful as he leans against her side, she knows she made the right choice. Some lines are worth crossing, some children are worth fighting for, and some dangerous men, she's beginning to suspect, might be worth trusting after all. The guest house becomes Maya's sanctuary over the next 3 days. She unpacks her meager belongings, sets up a small teaching space in the second bedroom, and tries not to think about how drastically her life has changed in less than 72 hours. Dante has kept his distance, respecting the boundaries she established. But his presence is everywhere. In the security guards who patrol the grounds, in the fully stocked refrigerator that appears every morning, in the complete files on Liam's educational history that materialize on her desk, and in Liam himself, who appears at her door each morning at 9 o'clock, sharp backpack on his shoulders, ready to learn. Teaching one student is different from managing a classroom of 20. Maya can tailor every lesson to Liam's pace, his interests, his needs. She discovers he loves mathematics, working through problems with intense concentration. He struggles with reading but responds well to audiobooks paired with physical texts. And slowly, carefully, he begins to open up. On the third day, as they're working on a science project about weather patterns, Liam's small voice breaks the comfortable silence between them. Are you really staying? Maya's hand freezes on the cotton balls they're using to make clouds. It's the first time Liam has spoken directly to her, the first words she's heard from him in 4 weeks. Yes, she says softly, not making a big deal of it, not wanting to scare him back into silence. I'm really staying. The other teachers left. I know. They said I was too much work. His voice is barely audible. That I had too many problems. Maya sets down the cotton balls and turns to face him fully. Liam, Look at me. He raises those enormous brown eyes, so full of hurt that it physically pains her. You are not too much work, she says firmly. You are not a problem. You are a smart, kind, wonderful boy who has been treated badly by people who should have protected you. And I'm not leaving, not for anything. Do you understand? Liam nods, but she can see he doesn't fully believe her. Trust, she realizes, will take time to rebuild. That evening, after Liam has gone back to the main house for dinner with Dante, Maya sits on her cottage porch watching the sun set over Lake Michigan. The November air is cold, but the beauty of the moment keeps her outside. She's so absorbed in the view that she doesn't hear Dante approach until he's climbing the porch steps, 2 glasses of wine in his hands. May I? He asks, gesturing to the chair beside her. Maya hesitates, then nods. This is his property after all, and despite everything, she's beginning to realize he's not the monster the word criminal usually evokes. He spoke to me today, Maya says as Dante settles into the chair. Asked if I was really staying. Dante's hand tightens on his wine glass. What did you tell him? The truth, that I'm not going anywhere. And you meant it. It's not a question, but Maya answers anyway. Yes. They sit in silence for a moment, watching the sky turn from gold to pink to purple. Finally, Dante speaks. I was 17 when I joined the family. Not my family, the Vitale family that ran the South Side. My mother was a waitress, my father long gone. We had nothing. I had nothing. He takes a sip of wine. Antonio Vitale took me in, gave me work, taught me the business, made me his heir when his own son proved too weak for the life. Is he still dead? 5 years now. Natural causes, surprisingly. Dante's lips curve without humor. I took over his territory, his businesses, his name, became what he made me, someone people fear. Liam doesn't fear you. Liam doesn't know what I am, what I do. Dante's voice roughens. His mother, Elena, she was different from anyone in my world. Kind, genuine. She saw me at a charity event, and somehow, impossibly, she saw past everything else to something worth loving. Maya's chest tightens at the raw emotion in his words. We had 6 months together before she got pregnant. 6 months of believing I could have something normal, something good. He stares out at the lake. Then, the pregnancy complications started. By the 6th month, the doctors said she wouldn't survive delivery, that we should terminate, save her life. But she didn't want to. No, she said Liam was worth it, that giving him life meant her death had meaning. Dante's hands clench around the wine glass. I begged her to choose herself, promised I'd love her, just her, that we didn't need a child. But she refused, said I needed him more than I knew. A tear slides down his cheek, shocking Maya with its presence. This dangerous man, crying for the woman he lost. She died holding him, Dante continues. Looked at his face for 30 seconds. Said protect him, and then she was gone. And I was left with this tiny, perfect thing that cost me everything. But you kept him. I couldn't not keep him. He's all I have left of her. All I have of anything real and good in this world. Dante finally looks at Maya, his eyes wet but fierce. Which is why it matters so much that you're here. That he has someone who can give him what I can't. What's that? Safety. Normalcy. A chance to be a child instead of a mafia boss's son. He sets down his glass and turns to face her fully. You asked for the truth, Maya. Here it is. I run protection rackets. I take percentages from businesses in my territory. I settle disputes that the police can't or won't handle, sometimes with violence. Maya's breath catches, but she doesn't look away. I've killed 3 men in my life, Dante continues, his voice steady. One was trying to kill Antonio. One was trafficking children through my port. The third tried to hurt Liam when he was 2 years old. Broke into our home thinking he could use my son as leverage. What happened to him? Dante's smile is cold. He's buried where he'll never be found, and no one has tried to touch Liam since. The information should terrify Maya, should send her running from this porch, this property, this man. But all she can think is that he protected his son. That beneath the violence and criminality is a father who loves desperately and fiercely. Why are you telling me this? She asks. Because you deserve to know who you're trusting. What your protection costs. He leans forward, elbows on his knees. The Morrison and Pierce families are about to learn what happens when they threaten someone under my protection. And it won't be pretty. I need you to be prepared for that. What are you going to do? What I should have done the moment they hurt my son. Dante stands, looking down at her. Tomorrow, the federal investigation into Morrison's company will suddenly find evidence they've been looking for. Susan Pierce's prescription forgeries will be reported to the medical board, and certain photographs of Margaret Morrison will be delivered to her husband. Maya's stomach turns. You're destroying them. I'm giving them consequences for their actions. Something they've never faced before. His expression hardens. They hurt my son. They tried to destroy you for defending him. Did you think I'd let that stand? I think I'm in over my head. Dante kneels beside her chair, bringing them eye to eye. You're not. You're exactly where you need to be, where Liam needs you to be. And I promise, Maya Carter, nothing and no one will touch you while you're under my protection. The intensity in his eyes, the absolute certainty in his voice, sends a shiver through Maya that has nothing to do with the cold. I don't know if I can live in this world, she admits. You're already living in it. You have been since the moment you defended Liam. His hand comes up to rest on the arm of her chair, not touching her but close enough that she can feel his warmth. The only question is whether you're going to accept it or keep pretending there's a way back to who you were before. He's right. Maya knows he's right. She can't go back to her old life. That person, that naive teacher who believed the system would protect the vulnerable, died the moment Whitmore fired her. Okay, she whispers. I'm in, all the way. Something blazing and triumphant lights Dante's eyes. Good, because tomorrow is going to be interesting. He stands, offering her his hand. Maya takes it, letting him pull her to her feet. For a moment, they stand there on the porch, hands clasped, something electric passing between them. Then Dante releases her, stepping back. Get some rest, he says. Tomorrow, the world shifts in our favor. He walks away, disappearing into the darkness toward the main house, leaving Maya standing alone with her racing heart and the certain knowledge that she's just committed herself to something far bigger and more dangerous than she ever imagined. But also, possibly, something worth fighting for. Inside the cottage, Maya's phone buzzes with a text from an unknown number. Turn on the news. She grabs her laptop, pulling up a local news station. The headline makes her breath catch. Major development in Morrison real estate investigation. Federal agents execute search warrant. The footage shows federal agents swarming Richard Morrison's office building, carrying out boxes of evidence. Morrison himself is being led out in handcuffs, his face red with rage and humiliation. A second headline scrolls across the bottom of the screen. Prominent physician Susan Pierce under investigation for prescription fraud. And a third. Divorce filing rocks Chicago power couple. Mayor's alleged affair with Margaret Morrison cited. Maya stares at the screen, watching the three families who tried to destroy her implode in spectacular fashion. This is Dante's power. Not money or influence, but the ability to dismantle lives with surgical precision, to protect what's his with absolute ruthlessness. Her phone buzzes again. Another text from the same unknown number. They'll never hurt you or Liam again. Sleep well, Maya. D. Maya sets down her phone, her hands shaking slightly. She should be horrified. Should be questioning every decision that brought her here. Instead, she feels safe, protected, and for the first time in weeks, when she climbs into bed that night, she sleeps soundly. Maya wakes to the sound of soft knocking on her cottage door. For a moment, disoriented in the pre-dawn darkness, she thinks she's dreaming. Then the knock comes again, gentle but persistent. She wraps a robe around herself and pads to the door, peering through the peephole to find Liam standing on her porch in pajamas and a coat, his small face anxious. Maya opens the door immediately. Liam? Sweetie, what's wrong? He holds up a piece of paper. In his careful handwriting, he's written, Bad dream. Can I stay with you? Maya's heart clenches. She glances toward the main house, wondering if Dante knows his son has escaped, but Liam's desperate eyes make the decision for her. Of course, she says, stepping aside. Come in. It's freezing out there. Liam shuffles inside, his small body trembling. Maya guides him to the couch, wrapping him in the soft throw blanket she keeps draped over the back, then settles beside him. Do you want to tell me about the dream? She asks gently. Liam is quiet for a long moment. Then in that small, uncertain voice that still catches her off guard every time she hears it, he whispers, They took you away. Who did? The school people. The mean parents. His fingers clutch the blanket. They put you in a car and drove away. And Daddy said you weren't coming back. That nobody ever comes back. Maya pulls him close, feeling his small body shake with silent tears. "Hey, look at me." Liam raises his face, eyes red-rimmed and frightened. "I'm right here," Maya says firmly. "And I'm not going anywhere. Do you know why?" He shakes his head. "Because I made a promise to you, and I keep my promises." She wipes a tear from his cheek with her thumb. "Plus, your dad is pretty scary when he wants to be. I don't think those school people are going to be bothering us anymore." A tiny smile flickers across Liam's face. "Daddy is scary. Very scary. To bad guys anyway." Maya adjusts the blanket around him. "But you know what? I think he's scared too sometimes." Liam's eyes go wide. "Daddy's not scared of anything. Everyone's scared of something, sweetheart. Your dad is probably scared of the same thing you are. Losing people he loves." The boy considers this, his young face serious. "He loved my mommy." "I know he did. Do you think she's sad? That she's not here?" Maya's throat tightens. How do you explain death to a 6-year-old who already carries too much weight on small shoulders? "I think," Maya says carefully, "that your mommy is very proud of you, and I think she knows your daddy is taking good care of you. That's what parents want most for their children, to be safe and loved." "Are you going to be my mommy?" The question comes, out so quietly Maya almost doesn't hear it. Her breath catches. "Liam, I know you're my teacher," he interrupts quickly, as if afraid she'll say no. "But teachers can be like mommies too, right? They take care of you and help you when you're sad and make sure nobody's mean to you." Tears prick Maya's eyes. "Yes, they can be like that." "Then you're like my mommy." He says it with such simple certainty, such absolute trust, that Maya feels something fundamental shift in her chest. "Then I'm like your mommy," she agrees softly, pulling him close. "And that means I'll always, always protect you, no matter what." Liam burrows against her side, his breathing gradually slowing as the security of her presence drives away the nightmare. Within minutes, he's asleep, his small hand clutching a fold of her robe. Maya sits there in the pre-dawn darkness, holding this child who isn't hers by blood but is becoming hers in every way that matters, and realizes that somewhere along the way, she stopped just teaching Liam. She started loving him. The sky is just beginning to lighten when Maya hears footsteps on the porch. She's been expecting this. Sure enough, the door opens quietly, and Dante appears, his hair disheveled, expression tight with worry. He stops when he sees them on the couch, his face transforming from fear to relief in an instant. "I woke up and he was gone," Dante says quietly, moving into the cottage. "I was about to wake the entire security team. He had a nightmare," Maya explains, careful not to disturb the sleeping child. "About me being taken away." Something passes across Dante's face, guilt, pain, understanding. He crosses to them, kneeling beside the couch so he's eye level with his son. "He used to have them about his mother," Dante murmurs, reaching out to brush a curl from Liam's forehead with infinite gentleness. "The first year, every night, he'd wake up screaming, but no sound would come out. Just this silent terror. That's why he doesn't speak," Maya realizes. The selective mutism. He's literally trying to hold in the screams. Dante nods, his jaw tight. "Every specialist I took him to said the same thing. Time, stability, patience. But how do you give a child stability when your entire world is built on instability? When any moment, an enemy could decide you're vulnerable through your son? Is that why you enrolled him as Liam Chen? Why you tried to hide who he was?" "I thought if no one knew he belonged to me, he'd be safe. That he could have a normal childhood, normal friends, a normal life." Dante's voice turns bitter. "Instead, he got bullied for being different, for having worn clothes and no money, and a father who didn't show up to school events because I was too afraid someone would recognize me." Maya sees the guilt eating at him, the impossible weight of trying to protect a child in a world built on danger. "You can't give him normal," she says gently, "but you can give him loved, and you do, Dante. He knows you love him." "Is it enough?" Dante's eyes meet hers, raw and vulnerable in a way she's never seen before. "Is my love enough when it comes wrapped in violence and fear and secrets? I don't know," Maya admits honestly. "But I know what will destroy him. Being abandoned. Being made to feel like he's not worth protecting. Like he's too much trouble." She looks down at Liam's sleeping face. "He asked me if I was going to be his mommy." Dante goes very still. "What did you say?" "I said I'd always protect him. That's what mommies do." The silence stretches between them, heavy with implications. Dante stands slowly, moving to the window where the lake is just beginning to reflect the dawn. His mother asked me to protect him, he says, his back to Maya. But she also asked me to let him love again, to not raise him in isolation because I was afraid of losing someone else. He turns, and Maya sees tears tracking down his face. I've failed at that. Until you. Dante. You're the first person besides me that he's let close. The first person he's trusted enough to run to when he's scared. Dante crosses back to them, dropping to his knees again. Thank you. For giving him something I couldn't. What's that? Someone safe to love. The words hang in the air between them, and Maya realizes he's not just talking about Liam's feelings. There's something else in Dante's eyes, something dangerous and electric that makes her breath catch. I should take him back, Dante says, his voice rough. Let you get some sleep. He can stay, Maya offers. I don't mind, and he seems peaceful. Dante hesitates, then nods. I'll come back for him in a few hours. He stands but doesn't immediately leave. Maya, about yesterday. The Morrisons and Pierces. I saw the news. And? Maya takes a breath. And I understand why you did it. I don't know if I agree with your methods, but I understand protecting what matters. Good. Dante moves toward the door, then pauses. Because there's going to be more. They'll fight back. And when they do, it's going to get ugly. How ugly? His expression darkens. They'll come after me through channels they think I can't touch. The police, the FBI. They'll try to prove I'm everything they suspect I am. His gaze intensifies. Which means they might come after you too. Try to turn you against me. Offer you deals, protection, a way out if you testify. Maya's stomach tightens. Will they find anything? Evidence, I mean? Nothing that will stick. I'm careful. He pauses. But Maya, if they do come to you, if they pressure you, I'll understand if you need to protect yourself. I won't hold it against you. You're saying I should turn on you if it means saving myself. I'm saying I won't let you go down with me if this goes sideways. Dante's voice is firm. Liam needs you. That matters more than anything else. Maya looks down at the sleeping child in her arms, then back at Dante. I'm not going to betray you. You don't know what they'll offer. I'm not going to betray you, she repeats, more firmly. Whatever's coming, we face it together. That's what families do. Something blazes in Dante's eyes. He takes a step toward her, then seems to catch himself, stopping just inside the doorway. You should sleep, he says, his voice rougher than before. It's going to be a long day. After he leaves, Maya sits holding Liam as dawn breaks fully across the lake, turning the water from black to silver to gold. She thinks about the choice she just made, the line she just crossed, choosing Dante's side, choosing this dangerous, complicated man, and his broken, beautiful son. She should be terrified, should be planning her escape, her testimony, her return to normal life. Instead, she feels certain, clear. For the first time since her parents died when she was 19, leaving her alone to raise herself, Maya feels like she belongs somewhere, like she's found her people. Even if those people include a 6-year-old who doesn't speak, and a mafia boss who kills to protect what's his. The next 3 weeks unfold like a storm gathering on the horizon. Maya settles into a routine with Liam. Lessons in the morning, creative play in the afternoon, reading together before dinner. He's thriving under the individual attention, his confidence growing daily. He speaks more now, full sentences instead of fragments, though always quietly, always carefully, as if words are precious resources not to be wasted. Dante orbits around them, present but distant, handling whatever crisis is brewing with the Morrison and Pierce families. Maya sees him in glimpses, through the window of his study late at night, talking urgently on the phone, walking the property perimeter with his security team, watching her teach Liam with an expression she can't quite decipher. The news is relentless. Richard Morrison's indictment makes national headlines. Susan Pierce loses her medical license. Margaret Morrison's divorce becomes tabloid fodder. And through it all, whispers begin circulating about who might have orchestrated such a comprehensive takedown. Dante Vitale's name surfaces in think pieces and speculation. The mysterious businessman with rumored ties to organized crime. The man who controls half the South Side but has never been successfully prosecuted. On a cold December morning, 3 weeks after Maya moved onto the property, the other shoe finally drops. Maya is in the middle of teaching Liam about fractions using actual cookies, his idea, and an effective one when Marco appears at the cottage door, his expression grave. Miss Carter, There are people here to see you. FBI. Maya's blood runs cold. She looks at Liam, who has gone very still, his eyes wide with fear. It's okay, she tells him, forcing her voice to stay calm. Marco, can you stay with Liam? Continue the lesson? Marco nods, stepping inside as Maya rises. She touches Liam's shoulder gently. I'll be right back. Keep working on those fractions, okay? Liam nods, but his small hand catches hers. You promised you wouldn't leave. I'm not leaving. I'm just going to talk to some people. I promise. She squeezes his hand, then releases it, following another security guard toward the main house. In Dante's study, 2 FBI agents wait. A woman in her 40s with sharp eyes and sharper suit, and a younger man who looks like he spends his free time at the gym. Dante stands behind his desk, arms crossed, expression neutral. Miss Carter, the female agent says, standing. I'm Special Agent Jennifer Walsh. This is Agent Marcus Rivera. We'd like to ask you some questions about your relationship with Dante Vitale. Am I under arrest? Maya asks, proud of how steady her voice sounds. No, we're just gathering information. Walsh gestures to a chair. Please sit. Maya remains standing. Then I'm free to leave? Of course. But we think it would be in your best interest to cooperate. Walsh pulls out a folder, opening it to reveal photographs. Maya teaching Liam in the cottage. Maya and Dante on the porch that evening 3 weeks ago. Maya arriving at the property in Dante's SUV. You've been living on Mr. Vitale's property for 3 weeks now, Walsh continues, teaching his son, accepting his protection after you were fired from Westridge Academy under suspicious circumstances. I was fired for defending a student from bullying. You were fired for violating school policy. Rivera speaks for the first time, his voice aggressive. And within 24 hours, the families who complained about you suffered simultaneous catastrophic reversals. Federal investigations, medical board sanctions, divorce proceedings. He leans forward. Don't you find that timing suspicious, Miss Carter? I find it satisfying, Maya says before she can stop herself. Walsh's eyebrows rise. So, you don't deny being aware of Mr. Vitale's actions? I don't deny being glad that people who hurt a child faced consequences. Consequences delivered by a known criminal, Rivera says flatly. Do you have any idea who you're protecting, Miss Carter? Dante Vitale runs one of the largest organized crime operations in Chicago. He's connected to money laundering, racketeering, extortion, allegedly. Dante interrupts softly. You forgot the word allegedly, Agent Rivera. Because you've never actually proven any of those accusations, have you? Rivera's jaw tightens. We will. And when we do, anyone caught in the blast radius goes down with you. He turns back to Maya. That includes teachers who accept illegal protection in exchange for silence. I'm not silent, Maya says. I'm just not cooperating with a fishing expedition designed to pressure me into fabricating evidence against someone who's done nothing but help me. He destroyed 3 families, Walsh says, her voice sharp. Had a man arrested on federal charges, a woman stripped of her medical license, a marriage, imploded with leaked photographs. That's not help, Miss Carter. That's revenge, and you're complicit. Those families tried to destroy me first, Maya counters. They tried to ruin my career because I wouldn't let them bully a 6-year-old child. So forgive me if I don't feel sympathy for them facing actual consequences for once in their privileged lives. Silence falls over the study. Walsh and Rivera exchange glances, recalibrating their approach. Miss Carter, Walsh says, her tone softening. I understand you feel grateful to Mr. Vitale. He helped you when you were vulnerable, but you need to understand what you're involved in, the kind of danger you're exposing yourself to by staying here. I'm safer here than I've ever been anywhere, Maya says quietly. Are you? Walsh pulls out another photograph, and Maya's breath catches. It's her apartment, or what's left of it. The door hanging off its hinges, furniture overturned, belongings scattered across the floor. Your apartment was broken into 3 nights ago, Walsh explains, vandalized. The message snitch spray-painted on the walls. She looks at Maya intently. That's what happens to people associated with Dante Vitale, Miss Carter. His enemies think you're his weakness, and they'll use you to get to him. Maya feels the blood drain from her face, her apartment, her home, violated because she dared to accept Dante's protection. When were you planning to tell me about this? She asks, not looking at Dante. After I found who did it, Dante replies, his voice dangerously calm. And handled it. Handled it how? Rivera demands. More illegal retaliation? More violence? Protection, Dante says simply. Which is why Miss Carter lives here now, where she's safe, where no one can touch her. Until they do, Walsh says. Until his enemies escalate from vandalism to something worse. Until being connected to you becomes a death sentence, Mr. Vitale. She turns back to Maya. We can protect you. Real protection. Witness protection, if necessary. But you have to cooperate. Tell us what you know about his operations. Help us build a case. Maya looks at the photograph of her destroyed apartment, then at Walsh's earnest face, then finally at Dante. He stands there, expression carefully neutral. But she can see the tension in his shoulders, the way his hands have clenched into fists at his sides. He's waiting for her to choose, and he's prepared for her to choose herself. But when Maya speaks, her voice is clear and certain. I don't know anything about Mr. Vitale's business operations. I'm here as a private tutor for his son. That's the extent of my involvement. She meets Walsh's eyes steadily. And I don't need witness protection. I need you to leave so I can get back to teaching a little boy who's already been through enough trauma without federal agents terrorizing his home. Rivera slams his hand on the desk. You're making a mistake, Miss Carter. When this blows up and you'll have no protection, no immunity, nothing. Then I'll have exactly what I have now, Maya says. My integrity. And my promise to a child that I wouldn't abandon him. Walsh studies her for a long moment, then closes the folder with a sigh. I hope you're right about him, Miss Carter. For your sake. She hands Maya a business card. When you change your mind and you will call me. The offer stands. The agents leave, escorted out by Marco. The moment the door closes behind them, Maya's knees nearly give out. She catches herself on the back of a chair, breathing hard. Dante is beside her in an instant, his hand on her back, steadying her. Are you all right? My apartment, Maya whispers. They destroyed my apartment. I know. I'm sorry. His voice is rough with something that sounds like guilt. I should have anticipated retaliation. Should have had people watching it. Who did it? The Calabrese family. They're rivals. Thought hitting you would send me a message. Dante's expression darkens. They were wrong. What did you do? What I always do. Protected what's mine. He guides her to sit in one of the leather chairs, then crouches in front of her. Maya, if you want to take the FBI's offer, I'll understand. I'll make sure you're safe either way. I'm not taking their offer. They're right about the danger, Dante insists. Being connected to me puts a target on your back. Your apartment was just a warning. Next time could be worse. Then we make sure there isn't a next time. Maya meets his eyes. You said you protect what's yours, right? Well, Liam is mine now too. That little boy who's waiting for me to come back and finish teaching him about fractions. Who asked me to be his mommy. Who trusts me not to abandon him. She reaches out, touching Dante's face without thinking. I'm not leaving him. Which means I'm not leaving you. Dante's hand comes up to cover hers, his eyes intense on her face. You're either incredibly brave or incredibly foolish. Maybe both. She manages a shaky smile. Probably both, actually. For a moment, they just stay like that. Her hand on his face, his hand covering hers. Something electric and dangerous crackling in the air between them. Then Dante stands abruptly, putting distance between them. I need to make some calls, he says, his voice rough. Increase security. Make sure the Calabrese family understands that touching you again means war. Dante, you should get back to Liam. He'll be worried. Dante moves behind his desk, already reaching for his phone. Marco will stay with you both. And Maya? He looks up, something fierce in his expression. Thank you for choosing us. Maya nods, not trusting her voice, and leaves the study. Her hands are still shaking as she walks back to the cottage, processing everything that just happened. She just refused to cooperate with the FBI. Just chose a criminal over federal protection. Just committed herself fully to Dante Vitale's, a dangerous world with no guarantee of safety or sanity. But when she enters the cottage and finds Liam anxiously waiting by the window, his small face lighting up with relief when he sees her, Maya knows she made the right choice. Some things are worth the risk. Some children are worth protecting, no matter the cost. And some families, she's learning, are the ones you choose rather than the ones you're born into. You came back, Liam says, running to her and wrapping his arms around her waist. I promised I would, Maya replies, holding him tight. And I keep my promises. That evening, after Liam is in bed, Maya sits on her cottage porch despite the December cold, wrapped in blankets and trying to process the surreal turn her life has taken. 3 months ago, she was a struggling teacher living paycheck to paycheck. Now she's living on a Mafia boss's property, teaching his son, and refusing to cooperate with federal investigations. Her mother would be horrified. Or maybe proud. Maya's never been sure which. You'll freeze out here. Maya turns to find Dante climbing the porch steps, 2 steaming mugs in his hands. He offers her 1 hot chocolate, she realizes, the good kind with real cocoa and a hint of cinnamon. Can't sleep? He asks, settling into the chair beside her. Can't stop thinking. Maya wraps her hands around the warm mug. About how my life has completely changed in 3 months. About how I'm now somehow involved in organized crime. About how the FBI thinks I'm either a victim or an accomplice, and I'm not sure which one I actually am. You're neither. Dante's voice is quiet but firm. You're someone who saw a child in need and chose to help him, regardless of who his father was. That's not being a victim or accomplice. That's being human. A human who just refused to cooperate with federal agents investigating you. A human who refused to fabricate evidence or betray someone who's protected her. He takes a sip of his hot chocolate. There's a difference. Maya turns to look at him. This dangerous man who drinks hot chocolate and loves his son fiercely, and somehow makes her feel safer than anyone else ever has. Are you what they say you are? She asks. Everything the FBI accused you of? Dante doesn't flinch from the question. Yes, most of it. The money laundering? The racketeering? Yes. The extortion? I prefer to call it insurance collection. But yes. Maya should be horrified, should be disgusted. Instead, she finds herself asking, why? Dante is quiet for a long moment, staring out at the dark lake. When he speaks, his voice carries an edge of old pain. Because the legal world doesn't work for people like me, like I was. He looks at her. When I was 17, my mother was dying of cancer. The hospital wanted $50,000 up front for treatment. We didn't have $50. The insurance company denied every claim. The bank wouldn't give us a loan. The government programs were backed up for months. His jaw tightens. So I went to Dante Vitale. Within 24 hours, my mother was in the best oncology unit in the state. Treatment paid in full. She got 3 more years because of him. Good years. And in exchange? In exchange, I gave him my loyalty, my skills, my soul, some might say. Dante's smile is bitter. But I got to say goodbye to my mother. Got to tell her I loved her. Got to hold her hand when she passed. That's worth whatever price I paid. Maya absorbs this, understanding dawning. So you help others who fall through the cracks. The people the system fails. I help people who need help and can't get it legally. Sometimes that means loaning money to families facing eviction. Sometimes it means pressuring businesses to pay workers they're cheating. Sometimes he pauses, sometimes it means darker things. Things I'm not proud of but don't regret. Like killing those 3 men. Like killing those 3 men. Dante agrees. The law wouldn't have stopped them. Wouldn't have protected Antonio or those children or Liam. So I did. And I'd do it again. Maya should be running. Should be calling Agent Walsh and accepting witness protection and getting as far from this man as possible. Instead, she asks, the Calabrese family, the ones who vandalized my apartment, what are you going to do about them? Dante's expression darkens. They disrespected my protection, threatened what's mine. There has to be a response. A violent response? Violence is one option, but there are others. He looks at her. I could destroy their operations, cut off their supply lines, turn their allies against them, ruin them financially and politically until they're no longer a threat. He pauses. Or I could sit down with their boss and negotiate a truce. Make it clear that you're off limits. That attacking you means attacking me directly, and they're not ready for that war. Which option are you choosing? Which one do you want me to choose? The question catches Maya off guard. You're asking my opinion? You're the one they threatened. You get a say in the response. Dante sets down his mug and turns to face her fully. I told you I protect what's mine, Maya. But I'm also asking you to help me be better than my worst instincts. Liam needs that. Needs to see that problems can be solved without always resorting to violence. Maya's heart clenches at the vulnerability in his admission. Talk to them first. Negotiate. But if they refuse, then I'll do what's necessary to keep you safe. Dante's voice is firm. That's non-negotiable. They sit in silence for a moment, the weight of the conversation settling around them. Finally, Maya speaks. "I'm scared," she admits quietly. "Not of you, of this world, of what it means to stay, of what it costs to be loved by someone like you." Dante goes very still. "Who said anything about love?" Maya looks at him, really looks at him, and sees the truth he's trying to hide. The way his eyes soften when he watches her teach Liam. The way he brings her hot chocolate on cold nights. The way he asked her opinion on how to handle his enemies, as if her moral compass matters to him. "You did," she says softly. "Every time you protected me. Every time you respected my boundaries. Every time you looked at me like I'm something precious you're afraid to break." Dante's breath catches. For a long moment, he doesn't move. Then, slowly, he reaches out and cups her face with one hand. "I shouldn't," he says, his voice rough. "You deserve better than this. Better than me. Maybe." Maya leans into his touch, despite every logical reason not to. "But I don't want better. I want real. And you're the realest thing I've found." Dante's thumb traces her cheekbone, his touch achingly gentle. "If I kiss you right now, everything changes. You understand that? There's no going back to being just Liam's teacher. No pretending this is just professional." "I stopped pretending weeks ago," Maya whispers. The kiss, when it comes, is inevitable. Gentle at first, almost questioning, as if Dante is giving her one last chance to pull away. But Maya doesn't pull away. She leans in, her hands finding his shoulders, kissing him back with all the pent-up emotion of the past 3 months. Dante makes a sound low in his throat, his arms coming around her, pulling her closer. The kiss deepens, becoming something urgent and desperate and right. Maya feels like she's falling and flying simultaneously, terrified and exhilarated and completely, utterly certain. When they finally break apart, both breathing hard, Dante rests his forehead against hers. "I love you," he says, the words raw and honest. "I've been trying not to. Trying to keep distance. But watching you with Liam, watching you choose us over safety, watching you be everything good that I'm not." He pulls back enough to meet her eyes. "I love you, Maya Carter, and that terrifies me." "Why?" "Because everyone I doesn't study it. Love dies, or leaves, or gets hurt because of who I am." His voice cracks. "I can't lose you. I can't watch you pay the price for loving me." Maya takes his face in both her hands, forcing him to maintain eye contact. "Then don't let me pay that price. Keep me safe. Keep Liam safe. Keep us all safe together." "I'll try. God, I'll try." Dante kisses her again, softer this time, almost reverent. "But Maya, you need to know what you're signing up for. This life, it's not easy. It's dangerous and complicated, and sometimes I have to make choices that will horrify you. Then horrify me," Maya says. "I'd rather know who you really are than love a version of you that doesn't exist." Dante's laugh is surprised and genuine. "You're extraordinary. You know that?" "I'm terrified," Maya corrects. "But I'm also sure. About you. About Liam. About this insane family we're building. A mafia boss, a traumatized 6-year-old, and an idealistic teacher," Dante muses. "We're either the world's worst family or its most interesting one." "Both," Maya says, echoing her words from earlier. "Definitely both." They sit there on the porch, wrapped in each other's arms, as midnight approaches and the temperature drops, and the world continues spinning around them. Maya knows that choosing this life, choosing Dante, means choosing danger and uncertainty, and possibly heartbreak. But it also means choosing love, choosing family, choosing to fight for something that matters, instead of just surviving. And for the first time since her parents died, Maya feels like she's exactly where she's supposed to be. The next morning brings unexpected visitors. Maya is making breakfast in the cottage pancakes shaped like animals for Liam, who watches with delighted fascination when Marco appears at the door, his expression unusually grim. "Miss Carter. Mr. Vitale needs you at the main house. Now." Maya's stomach drops. "Is Liam okay?" "He's fine. He's with his father. But there's been a development." Marco's voice is tight. "The Calabrese family sent a response." Maya follows Marco to the main house, her heart hammering. In Dante's study, she finds him standing by the window, Liam pressed against his side, the boy's small hand clutching his father's. "What happened?" Maya asks. Dante turns, and she sees the barely controlled rage in his expression. "They declined my offer to negotiate, and they sent a message to emphasize their position." He gestures to his desk, where a package sits open. Inside is a photograph of Liam, taken yesterday in the yard during their outdoor lesson. Someone had been close enough to photograph him without being detected by security. Scrawled across the photo in red marker, "Next time, we won't just watch." Maya's blood runs cold. They threatened him. They threatened Liam. They made the last mistake they'll ever make, Dante says, his voice deadly calm. He looks at Marco. "Call everyone. Tell them we're moving. Tonight." "Moving?" Maya asks. "Moving. Where?" "The Calabrese family just declared war." Dante's eyes are black with fury. "Which means I'm ending this. Permanently. But first, I'm getting you and Liam somewhere they can't touch." "Dante, you can't just— Can't what? Protect my son? Protect you?" He crosses to her, gripping her shoulders. "They threatened Liam, Maya. They crossed the line that no one crosses. And now I'm going to teach them why." Maya sees the violence lurking beneath his controlled surface, the dangerous man she's been catching glimpses of fully revealed. This is who Dante Vitale really is. Someone who will burn the world down to protect what's his. And she's just agreed to be part of what's his. "What are you going to do?" she asks, though she's not sure she wants to know the answer. Dante's smile is cold and terrible. "Whatever I have to. Whatever it takes." He looks down at Liam, his expression softening. "No one threatens my family. No one." He kisses Liam's head, then looks back at Maya. "Pack a bag, light. We leave in an hour. Where are we going?" "Somewhere safe while I handle this." Dante's voice is firm. "I won't risk you or Liam being caught in the crossfire." As Maya hurries back to the cottage to pack, her mind races. This is really happening. Dante is going to war with another crime family. People are going to get hurt, maybe killed. And she's involved now, whether she wants to be or not. But looking back at the main house, seeing Dante standing in the window with Liam, both of them silhouetted against the morning light, Maya knows she wouldn't change her choice. This is her family now. Dangerous, complicated, possibly doomed, but hers, and she'll fight to protect it, whatever the cost. Thank you so much for watching until the end. If you love this story, check out the other videos on your screen now. I think you'll really enjoy them. And don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. See you in the next story.